Have you ever opened your fridge and wondered, am I storing this correctly? Maybe you've tucked your loaf of bread behind the milk, or put your bananas in the crisper drawer thinking they'll stay fresh longer. I get it. We've all done it, thinking the fridge is the safest place for almost everything. But here's something that might surprise you. Some of the most common foods you eat every day lose their flavor, their nutrients, and sometimes even become harmful just because they're kept cold. It's not your fault. These habits sneak into our routines quietly. But once you know what to look for, you'll never see your kitchen the same way again. In today's video, we're going to talk about everyday foods that should never be stored in the fridge, and, more importantly, what to do instead. Small changes in how we store our food can make a big difference in how we feel, especially as we age. Let's dive in. Before we dive into specifics, let's take a moment and think. What have you eaten today? Potatoes, bread, maybe some fruit? Are you sure you're storing them the right way? You might think keeping everything cold is the best thing for your food, but you'd be surprised how many foods lose their taste and even become harmful when kept in the fridge. Imagine this. Every time you eat those foods, you're not getting the full benefit, or worse, you might be unknowingly harming your body. Today, let's break down the common mistakes you might be making when it comes to storing your food and how you can make simple adjustments that will help you stay healthier as you age. Let's start with one food that almost everyone has in their kitchen: potatoes. They're versatile, delicious, and a staple in so many meals. But what if I told you that storing potatoes in the fridge is a big mistake? You see, when potatoes are kept in the cold, their starch turns into sugar faster than it should. Now, when you roast, bake, or fry them at high temperatures, this sugar can produce a chemical called acrylamide, which has been linked to cancer in animal studies. While research in humans is still ongoing, this is a serious concern, especially when it's something we consume regularly. But it doesn't stop there. The taste and texture of the potatoes change too. Ever noticed your potatoes turning oddly sweet or becoming mushy? That's because the cold affects their natural balance. The fix is simple. Store your potatoes in a cool, dark, dry spot, like a pantry, away from the fridge. They'll stay firm, last longer, and taste better. So next time you store your potatoes, remember to keep them in a safe spot, not in the fridge. Now, let's talk about bread. A slice of fresh bread, warm and comforting, is a favorite in many households. But here's the problem. Keeping bread in the fridge actually makes it stale faster. When stored in the cold, bread's starches undergo a process called retrogradation, which causes the bread to turn hard and dry much faster than if you left it on the counter. Have you ever made a sandwich with bread that was crumbly or stiff? Or noticed your toast turning to cardboard overnight? That's the fridge working against your bread. The cold air not only dries it out, but also encourages mold to grow, especially when there's moisture trapped inside the packaging. The solution? Keep bread at room temperature, sealed tightly in a bag or container. You can store it in a bread box or a dry cabinet. That's all it takes to keep your bread soft, fresh, and mold-free. Next, let's talk about onions. They're essential in so many dishes, from soups to salads. But did you know that storing onions in the fridge can cause them to spoil faster? The cold and humidity of the fridge break down their protective outer skin, making them soft and prone to mold. Have you ever opened the fridge and found a slimy, soft onion with dark spots? That's the moisture from the fridge, causing them to deteriorate. What's more, onions have a strong smell that can seep into nearby foods, causing a weird taste in your butter, fruits, or leftovers. So, what's the best way to store onions? Keep them in a cool, dry, dark place, like a pantry or a hanging basket. Avoid sealing them in plastic bags and let them breathe. If you've already cut an onion, store the leftovers in an airtight container in the fridge and use them within a couple of days. By following these simple tips, your onions will stay fresh and your fridge won't smell like onions. Moving on to tomatoes. They're juicy, delicious, and add a burst of color to any meal. But here's the thing. Tomatoes do not belong in the fridge. When stored in the cold, they stop ripening, and the flavor and texture change dramatically. Ever noticed that tomatoes in the fridge taste flat or have a mealy texture? That's because the cold air disrupts the natural enzymes that help them develop flavor and maintain their texture. Even worse, the cold reduces their vitamin C content, which is essential for your immune system, especially as you age. The solution is simple. Keep your tomatoes at room temperature, out of direct sunlight. If they're still firm, store them stem side down to help them ripen evenly. Once they're ripe, use them within a few days. If they start getting soft, don't toss them out. Use them for making tomato sauce, soup, or roasted dishes. Your tomatoes will be much tastier, and you'll retain all their health benefits by storing them properly. Now, let's talk about garlic. You probably already know that garlic has a ton of health benefits. It helps lower blood pressure, boosts your immune system, and eases inflammation. But what you might not know is that putting garlic in the fridge can actually steal its strength. When stored in cold temperatures, garlic cloves start to sprout early, making them bitter and rubbery. Not only that, but when you chop or mince garlic and store it in oil, you create a breeding ground for harmful bacteria, including the dangerous Clostridium botulinum, which can lead to botulism. So, what should you do instead? Store whole garlic bulbs in a dry, cool place, like a mesh bag or a paper bag. If you've already chopped garlic, mix it with vinegar or lemon juice to prevent bacteria from growing. You don't need to store it in the fridge. Simply chop fresh garlic whenever you can. It's quick, and you get all the full flavor and health benefits that garlic offers. Finally, let's talk about coffee. Many of us rely on that morning cup of coffee to kickstart our day. But did you know that storing your coffee in the fridge can ruin its flavor? Coffee is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture, odors, and even flavors from other foods nearby. If you store your coffee in the fridge, it will soak in the smells of onions, garlic, or leftovers, making your coffee taste flat, bitter, and odd. What's worse, temperature changes can cause condensation to form inside the coffee container, which can make the grounds clump together, dulling the flavor and even inviting mold. The solution is simple. Store your coffee in an opaque, airtight container at room temperature, away from heat and light. Only grind what you need for the day to preserve freshness, and your coffee will taste as it should, rich, smooth, and full of flavor. As we've explored today, it's the small, often overlooked changes in how we store our food that can have a significant impact on our health, especially as we age. From storing potatoes and bread properly to keeping garlic and coffee fresh, these little adjustments can help you feel better, stay stronger, and live more comfortably as you get older. It's not about making drastic changes overnight, but making mindful decisions in your kitchen that can have lasting benefits for your body. If you found these tips helpful, I encourage you to take action and make just one change in how you store your food today. Whether it's moving your garlic out of the fridge, storing your tomatoes at room temperature, or avoiding keeping potatoes in the cold, these simple habits will start to pay off in the long run. We're all in this journey together, and with just a little knowledge and care, we can improve the way we feel day by day. If you want to stay updated on more health tips tailored to seniors, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Health Care. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a valuable tip to help you live healthier, stronger, and happier. Thank you for joining me today. Together, let's make aging a time for thriving, not just surviving. Stay healthy, stay informed, and take care of yourself.